What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the New York Sports Take. My name is Matt O'Connor, alongside the boys of East Meadow today. Andrew, it's Andrew squared. Anytime two people have the same name, I can't help but just say squared. It's my thing. And you're both from the same town, and you've known each other since Hector was a pup. So you guys go way back, close friends. Drew was supposed to be a lifelong Giant fan, but he decided he didn't want that lifestyle, so he's an Eagles fan. We're going to get into all that and more in this episode. I know Drew has some grievances to air about Kevin Petula. Myself and Andrew very, very frustrated about the state of the New York Yankees, and as Brian Cashman is still dead asleep at the wheel. So we have a lot to get into, but there is so much football going on, fellas. We have the national championship for college on Monday. We have the divisional slate for the NFL coming up tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. And of course, the big fish has been landed in New York. Andrew, I want to give you the open mic. You're the Giant fan on the panel here today. John Harbaugh has come to save your franchise. 5 years, $100 million a deal. Makes him one of the highest paid coaches in the NFL at about $20 million per year. Welcome, John Harbaugh. Andrew, your thoughts?
Best day since 2011. I'll start off with that. So this is the best day in Giants history since the Super Bowls. So that's how bad it's been in the last decade.
Glory days of the franchise.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. I mean, since Tom Coughlin's departure, which I believe was, at the end of the 2011-12 season?
I think it was...
No, 12-13. I think.
12-13?
I think so. But McAdoo, Shermer, Judge, those are the names that were eclipsed after Tom Coughlin, and they eclipsed a .336 win percentage, which is just abysmal over that long of a span. There are players in MLB with higher batting averages than that. That is not good enough. And to me, it's really as simple as instant credibility. Because John Harbaugh, and listen, I understand the excitement and everything, but you're not getting Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay. You're not getting one of these brilliant play callers that is going to groom Jackson Dart to be a star quarterback in the NFL. That's not the role that he was come in here to play. He was brought in here to be a no doubt about it CEO type leader, and I do think he'll fulfill that role. That was the role that he fulfilled in Baltimore for 18 years. He was 18. I think Tomlin was 19 in Pittsburgh. We could talk about that too. But here he is. It's kind of incredible to me because I just had it. Listen, the Giants were, on Kalshi, and you could look anywhere. The Giants were heavy favorites to land this guy. But to me, there was a pit in my stomach, like deep down. I don't know. I thought Tennessee with Cam Ward, even though their roster is a catastrophe, just thought that might be an appealing thing for him, or Atlanta and all the money that the owner over there, Arthur Staple, could throw at him. But they did it. And can we talk about the fact that they pulled out all the stops?
Yeah, I got to give everybody in the front office credit, especially, John Harbaugh is going through a tough time right now with cancer and everything that's going on in his life. So he put that all aside and he made it happen. So props to him and everybody in the front office. They worked their ass off trying to change this franchise because, listen, John Harbaugh had enough. It's been even in the Dable era, that was a total failure. He ended up keeping Shane, but Shane made it happen. Front office made it happen. Private jets and all, brought the guy in. Got the big fish.
Yeah, you had Steve Tisch, who was obviously he's the president of the Giants, right?
He owns half the team.
Or he owns half the team. That's right.
Yeah.
Steve Tisch taking the private jet down to John Harbaugh's residence right outside of Baltimore. So he was I suppose that was Tuesday. He got let go on Monday. He had lunch with him there. And Chris Mara saw him as well. So even though the Falcons, and apparently this rubbed the Giants the wrong way, the Falcons had contacts with Harbaugh via phone call, and they considered that a quote-unquote formal interview. take that with what you will, how much of an interview that was. But even prior to that, the Giants were on top of this right away. And yeah, you talk about Chris Mara, who's obviously his role is going to be expanded now. We'll see if he's really the full-time owner now, and the severity of John Harbaugh's cancer, and there's really no information as to if he's getting better or whatever. So Chris Mara's role's increasing here. He had lunch with him. Steve Tisch saw him. They did let him leave the building. I think the perception around a lot of Giant fans was, don't let this guy leave the building, lock all the doors, and get it done then and there. He was there a long time. Apparently, he had a 2-hour sit-down session, one-on-one with Jackson Dart. Nobody else in the room, just him and Dart. They went to a Mediterranean restaurant in East Rutherford, sat down, enjoyed some Greek food. So, couple lunches, couple dinners, a formal interview, the meeting with the quarterback, and it gets done. And I am sure that for a Giant franchise with one of the largest valuations in the sport, they're a $10 billion franchise as far as valuation goes, that $20 million a year and giving whatever he wants as far as staff goes, Todd Monken, and I'm going to ask you about that right in. This is my lead into that. And it was no problem for these guys to buff up and cater to all of his needs. So I'll ask both of you guys about this. You're an NFC East fan, Drew, as an Eagles fan. Where do they go from here? Because like I said, when I mentioned that this at the top, John Harbaugh, he provides a lot of good. The instant credibility, we all know the pluses as far as John Harbaugh goes, but he's not going to be calling plays for you. He actually is a special teams background, which doesn't mean much. Listen, the Jets went 3-14. As far as DVOA or whatever that metric is, we had one of the best fucking special teams of all time. How you doing? What did that do for us? Not much. So that's great that he's a special teams guy, but he needs to bring in the right guys. I think it's expected that Todd Monken is next here, but would that be the move that you make? And if not, where do you go?
I think Harbaugh is going to bring Monken in with him, because they have the familiarity. They've worked together for a while. If I'm not mistaken, he is related to Jeff Monken, the head coach at Army. So they're going to bring in that QB run offense, which worked really well in Baltimore. And I think it's going to work with the Giants because Dart is athletic, but the brother's going to have to learn to slide. Right. Or else he's going to go in that blue tent every single game. But I think Harbaugh is a great hire for the nicest way to say it, dysfunctional franchise who can't seem to do much right. They got the guy, they got the hot coach, the guy with the most credibility, a Super Bowl, and I think this was a much, much needed hire for them because knowing the Giants' track record, they were going to probably hire Kevin Patullo or Mike McCarthy, knowing them. But
do you imagine that? I mean, Mike McCarthy's one thing. Mike McCarthy had virtually won 10-plus games every single year, consistently, year in, year out in his time with Dallas. He has a Super Bowl, so Super Bowl pedigree, actually does call plays. I don't think it would have been the worst thing in the world, but hiring a guy in Harbaugh pales in comparison. Yeah, this guy's way more established.
I'll leave it with this. It makes them more competitive. Like, they're not going to be a bottom feeder in this division.
Adding on to that, I mean, listen, as we said, we wanted a guy who's coached before. Coordinators haven't really worked around here, like the last couple of guys we've hired. Shermer was an OC. Joe Judge was a special teams coach, and Dable was an OC. They wanted a guy who's a leader, a guy who can run a team, a guy who guys will play behind. And as they said, winning should be a standard now. You have all the talent. There's so much talent on this team. It still needs work. It's still a work in progress, but they have a quarterback. They have a really good receiver. They have good running backs. The line is way improved from how it's been past couple of years. Listen, winning's the standard now. The wins have to add up eventually when you have this much talent on the team.
Yeah, I agree. I will follow up by asking you, though, do you think that Todd Monken's the right guy for the job here? I mean, this year was most certainly a down year in Baltimore. They started 1-5. But Todd Monken, I think Lamar's got 2 MVPs under him. The Ravens' offense was ranked number 4 in EPA play over 3 years. So 3 years, boasting an elite offense. Lamar at a top passer rating, really flourished as a passer over the past few years with Monken. Then this year, it really started to crumble there. I don't even. Did he get fired or would he just go to the
No,
Giants?
he didn't get fired. He's still on the. He's just gonna
I
accept
think the
another
Giants
job.
are
He's
probably
gonna
going
go
to
with
end up buying.
Harbaugh.
Yeah, they're probably going to buy out his contract.
Yeah,
Right.
He'll just
So would you hire him though? If you're now, I guess Harbaugh's calling this shot.
Yes, I think it is an amazing move. And
100%. You
I
hire
think
your
it'll
guy.
elevate Dart's game to another level, just like we saw Lamar's game elevate to another level. Under Roman, Lamar was good. He was
MVP
great.
under
He's still
Roman.
Lamar Jackson. John Harbaugh doesn't play games. He didn't like what he saw. Fired Greg Roman. Brings in Todd Monken. Lamar has his best passing seasons, and I saw something pretty interesting. Under Monken, the problem with the Giants was they ran a lot of design runs trying to get Dart killed almost,
He did that to
Under
himself.
Monken, the scramble rate is a lot different, so they use Lamar as a runner in scrambling situations a lot of the time, so it wasn't just QB draws or something that's going to get a quarterback hurt, which was pretty interesting, and I like that.
Yeah. Well, you bring up the design QB run game and Dart potentially getting hurt. Yeah, of course you run design QB runs, your quarterback's going to get hurt, get hit, but part of it is on him. He dives, it doesn't slide.
Yeah, for sure, and he has to learn how to slide.
Yeah,
But
he's a rookie.
when you run the same play 3 times in a row, Kafka would literally call them
it's
twice
coming.
in 5 plays to run his head into the ground, which is not
Yeah,
smart.
you can't be doing that. As you said, with Todd Monken, it's more scrambles. They're going to pull out read options, and of course, because Dart's a mobile, athletic guy, but it's going to be a more balanced.
I agree, and this just crossed my mind as you guys are talking about this. Whatever, talking about Giant quarterbacks running, and we mentioned all the previous Giant coaches. Joe Judge. How about Joe Judge? The final straw when he lost his job. Is QB sneaking it? Okay, the Giants are backed up in their own territory at the 10-yard line. I believe against Washington. Drew, were you still a Giants fan then? And Joe Judge calls a quarterback sneak on 3rd and long.
Third
And then explains himself in the postgame by saying, yeah, we were trying to be aggressive.
How is that aggressive? I don't even think the push can gain 9 yards.
Joe Judge was the worst coach of all time, and I'll stand.
And now he's at Ole Miss. It's just funny. I see when I saw that at Ole Miss. I'm like, why are they hiring this guy? This guy sucks.
He's
out of his mind. And actually, when I was this is funny.
Beside me.
Everything all the stops that the Giants pulled out to lure in Harbaugh and ultimately, come away with the top candidate here. Far cry from Joe Judge in his interview process. I read this the other day. I actually think I knew it and then I forgot about it. It's been so many years. When Joe Judge was interviewing for the Giants job, not too familiar with the New York City area, takes an Amtrak to the city from somewhere else on the East Coast. And he got off at the wrong Penn Station and was late to his interview.
That's how we knew he was awful from there. They shouldn't have hired him from that day.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of tells you everything you need to know. And listen, Joe Judge, for all it's worth, and we got to move on here at some point, but we're talking about a guy who walked himself out of a job. His spot was pretty much secured for the following year. And then that play call, I think, had something to do with it. And just how, I don't even know what the word is, convoluted he sounded on the podium during these post-game press conferences and everything like that. He genuinely walked himself out of returning as the Giants coach for another year. So pretty alarming on that end. But Andrew, I know you have to be relieved. You are finally, put it this way, I'm sorry, for every Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick and Mike Tomlin, even though that's over too. There are 4 or 5 Adam Gazes, Ben McAdoo's, Matt Eberflus's. There's a lot of coaching failures. It usually doesn't work out for the first-time coordinator. That's why I wanted my Jets to go get an experienced, established coach their last hiring cycle, but they rinse and repeat. They love their first-time defensive coordinators. And look where we are now. Not a very pretty first year for Aaron Glenn. So congratulations. I think it's a day to celebrate. It is worth noting, and I will ask you about this too, or you could chime in on this. It's been a long time since Harbaugh won a Super Bowl. He was 45 years old, and that was in 2012.
Joe Flacco.
It's a work in progress. We haven't had 8 wins, we had 8 wins in 2022. But
the year they went to the playoffs.
The year of the luck, as they say.
So
Yeah,
that was such a
Luckiest run of all time, and no one counts that. I don't even count that because they just got worse and worse after that year.
They won a playoff game that year.
Yeah, but I don't count it because they just got so much worse after. Like, I mean, listen, it was a good time. Like, you know how much I missed that year. That year was one of the best years of my life. I haven't seen the Giants good in forever.
Competitive.
Yeah,
a lot of people compare that year to the year that Chicago's kind of having this year, but they won more games and they won their division.
They got way more talent than we did that year, though. Like, yeah. So I mean, Ben Johnson's a hell of a coach, though.
Yeah.
But no, because all the one-score game, and New England also kind of got by scot-free this year. But the Bears, I mean, I think they had 8 fourth-quarter comeback victories. We obviously saw, and we talk about it when we preview these divisional games coming up here. We saw 8 fourth-quarter comebacks, 21-3 comeback at halftime versus Green Bay last Saturday. So they definitely have been on the right side of luck. You know, you heard some very frustrated Packers players in the locker room after saying they didn't deserve shit, we just collapsed. And they did. Caleb Williams threw some beautiful balls down the stretch there. He was great. The throw to, I'm trying to think of the wide receiver's name over there. One really nice touchdown pass he had in the fourth quarter. The defense stepped up when they needed to. I do expect Chicago to get absolutely fucking blitzed this week because their defense is just way too reliant on turnovers and their offense is pretty unreliable. They're good. Caleb Williams is good, but not consistent enough. So I don't really expect them to even show much here against LA. But yeah, that pretty much puts in a bow on it as far as Harbaugh goes. You have the best coach in the NFC East, and Drew, I'll let you speak about this now.
Not a chance.
I'm sure you have the opportunity, and I know that this Eagles elimination is probably less about Nick Sirianni and more about the players themselves as well as Kevin Petula. Sirianni's job is safe. I think that is pretty much well known at this point in time. But I'm sure you would admit as a Giant fan that you would swap out Harbaugh for Sirianni any day of the week. Sirianni's virtually a cheerleader with his fucking Eagles pom-poms over there. I'm sorry, that's just the way I see it. You could say he's a big dog leader of men, but you would probably do that, no?
Well, I mean, yes and no.
Okay, Harbaugh says I want to go to the Eagles.
Yeah. I take Harbaugh's experience. I'll take Harbaugh. He's been doing this a lot longer. But Harbaugh with the Ravens, they're so inconsistent, it feels like. It's like they're either really, really good or they suck and miss the playoffs. And they choke every year. You look at
Lamar Jackson playoff choking. It's not all Harbaugh.
Yeah, well, part of it's on the coach.
I know.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing with Sirianni, though. He's a culture guy, 100% big on culture. But, like, you talk about a guy, he took over in 2021. He's been to the playoffs every year with 2 Super Bowl appearances. Should have 2 rings. Where it's like, you can't deny the fact that it's like, he's not a bad coach.
I'll say this. We talk about very oftentimes, we talk about quarterbacks who are a process of the system, kind of known as game managers. That term's been thrown around. Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo when he had some success and reached some Super Bowls, and a lot of other guys over the years. You don't really hear that term as far as coaches go, but just in my frame of mind, give me one reason as to why Sirianni is not just a product of the system, product of a great general manager, the savviest guy in the league who makes excellent moves left and right. Everybody he brings through that door seems to have success, and a product of a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. Sirianni doesn't call plays. We all know that. I just don't know what he does to separate them, and he's kind of just like a Philly douche to me. So I'm not a fan. I
don't like him either.
Well, you bring up the fact he doesn't call plays. John Harbaugh doesn't call the plays either.
Yeah, but John Harbaugh's a way better leader than Sirianni.
That's a fair argument. And listen, there's no denying, like you said, 5 seasons, 2 Super Bowls, John Harbaugh, 13-11 postseason record, 13 wins is 7th most all time. That's one ahead of the last Giants coach who actually brought some credibility, and Tom Coughlin, who had 12 postseason wins, 180 regular season wins, 12 postseason appearances in the 18 years, like 6 division titles, I think, too. The list goes on. Sirianni, much shorter sample size, but also has had immense success. But again, just for the reasons I stated, I just don't really. Now, firing him would be rough. Would just because
Firing him would be borderline stupid. I get it. Like, people, they get on him a lot, but like, you fire a guy who's been to the playoffs every year. He's been the head coach of the team, and then if you fire him, it's like the stupidest thing ever.
You know what the problem I had with him this year is? I don't know why I don't even know why he kept Petullo. I don't even care. He was so terrible. I would have just fired him. I don't even care. If he had to call plays for the rest of the year, that guy was terrible. Yeah. Listen, the Lions tried it. I mean, they didn't fire the guy, but Dan Campbell took over. I'm not gonna say that. I mean, he wasn't horrible. They weren't great, but listen, sometimes as a coach, you just got to step up and do what's right. Like the fact, and I wouldn't even keep Petullo on the staff. I just fire him. Who wants him back in Philly? He's a loser. That was terrible.
All right, let's open the floor now for Drew. Obviously, the news just a couple days following the Eagles' elimination to the 49ers. Drew was in the building. He was at the link. He saw his football team go down in the first round. The defending champs will not be defending. And yes, it was a dreadful year. It was almost hard to watch that Philly offense, especially in the back half of the season, Drew. I heard some people say that Thursday night game in MetLife really broke them. They got the wins when they needed to. They picked up the slack. They beat the Raiders at home. They did enough to get into the postseason, but they never truly recovered after that game. I've heard that echoed. There's maybe some internal problems in that locker room with A.J. Brown and Nick Sirianni, and he will likely get moved this offseason as well. But what are your thoughts on the Kevin Petullo era in Philly? It obviously ended ugly, and how happy are you that he is no longer?
Thrilled. I was on Instagram, and I refresh, and Philadelphia Eagles pops up, and it's a statement from Nick Sirianni, and it's Kevin Petullo has been relieved of duties. I was like, hallelujah! This is it was like top 5 day ever. Like, the sky finally opened up. The dark days are over. It was a great day. Watching that offense week in and week out, like, I wanted to gouge my eyes out. I think you've all seen the videos, like the memes. Saquon up the middle. Saquon up the middle. A.J. Brown deep ball incomplete. It's what it felt all season. I'm a realist here. I watched the games. They rode their defense to that record. Like, their insane defense run by Vic Fangio. And as you said, the game at MetLife Stadium, I was also in the building, watched it with my own eyes.
You did have Cam Scatterboo in fantasy, so that's a silver line.
Cam Scatterboo fantasy that night.
Cam Scatterboo legacy.
So I wasn't terribly mad. I ended up winning that week. You could say that was the breaking point, but like, even the week before against Denver, and even when they played the Rams early in the season where they go down 26-7, and the offense just looks flat. It's what it looked like all season. Just squeak out these wins where they should be dominating these teams. And I don't think anything says it better than the offensive woes than the game in Buffalo where they have 17 yards of total offense in that second half. Everyone's like, oh, it's Jalen Hurts' fault. Watch the tape. None of the receivers get open. No one's open where it's like it's not his fault. And I'll touch on Jalen Hurts really quick. Stop hating on him. Everyone likes to hate on him.
Well, he's not good. That's my issue with him.
He's a system quarterback.
Listen, I don't watch the Eagles religiously like you, okay? I watch the Jets religiously, unfortunately. So I see a lot of bad quarterbacks.
That's a tragedy.
But I watched
He's a borderline top 10 guy. I mean, I'll give him that.
Dude, yeah, Jalen Hurts is the top 10 quarterback in this league. Because it's like you think about it, you go down the list. He's beating Mahomes,
Tanner McKee,
beating Joe Burrow. What's that?
Tanner McKee's
not that bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Yo, the Mormon.
Hey, as a Jet fan, let's go. Sign this lottery ticket. Bring in Tanner McKee to One Jets Drive. Give this kid a shot.
I won't do that. But like, I'll say this: the dog days are over. The Eagles are doing their offensive coordinator search. Howie Roseman, if you can hear me from afar, hire Brian Dable so you can stick it to the Giants twice a year.
Now
let me present to you something unique. Here's the reason why you would want to move off of Nick Sirianni. Because if you're just looking at 5 years, 2 Super Bowls, coach deserves to keep his job with those circumstances. Yeah, we all understand that. That's just logic, right? But what is an underlying issue with the Philadelphia Eagles? They've brought in excellent coordinators over the year, i.e. Jonathan Gannon, i.e. Kellen Moore, i.e. I'm trying to think, some other guys over the years. They've had great coordinators. What?
Shane Steichen.
Those are the 2 good ones. Brian Johnson and Kevin Patullo ran the offense into that ground. Shane Steichen.
Exactly.
Wait, no.
So,
coordinator, yeah.
Shane Steichen as well, and the list goes on. You've had some really good coordinators. Those good coordinators that I just mentioned, what's the theme with them? They go on and get head coaching jobs, and you're stuck with a guy sitting in the head coach's chair who cannot provide that elite offensive play calling and elevate an offense and bolster an entire team. Only an elite offensive coordinator can do that, and maybe that's why you make him head coach, so you stop going through this endless cycle of rinsing and repeating on great coordinators who end up to get head coaching jobs. That's the argument for that. I mean, you mentioned the other guy who was there before, Kevin Johnson. I mean, Philly won that Super Bowl, then the following year, major Super Bowl hangover, and this whole Kevin Patullo thing to me is just deja vu of that. It was the same thing. Everybody and their mother in Philadelphia was ready to run this guy out of town halfway through the year, and he ends up going. So if I'm Howie Roseman, have I learned my lesson at this point now that this is a repeat offense? Maybe. Listen, it's January 16th. The Eagles got eliminated almost a week ago. Sirianni hasn't been fired yet. 9 coaches have. I don't see him getting fired at this point, but I'm just saying it presents an interesting proposition to me.
They're not going to fire him, though. It's the only thing.
No, they won't. It's too late now.
Something to ponder.
Especially if the Eagles say it's a rather similar year. They either win the NFC East or another team emerges, so they're a top wild card. Not 9, 10, 11 win season, and they get axed in the first round, then this conversation becomes a little bit more serious.
It's like they don't get past the wild card round again, but it's like Sirianni's not losing his job after this season. He's not.
I mean, listen, they just won the Super Bowl. He doesn't deserve to lose his job yet, but the point is that it seems like they make a run every other year because every year. Matty Ice is right. Every single year they need a new coordinator because he can't call plays. It's the same thing with the Lions. If you look at the Lions, they lose Ben Johnson.
Same thing with John Morton. Except I have a little bit more respect for Dan Campbell than Sirianni.
But the thing is, these coaches that are like considered culture changers, or they don't call plays, so it's
throwing stones. Andrew Huber, you're throwing stones in a glass house right now because your new shiny new toy.
The only thing is, though,
that's the thing I warn against. I'm happy for you guys. Don't get me wrong. It's a home run hire. There's no doubt about it. The entire Giant fan base would have been crushed if this didn't get done.
Listen, the difference is...
Wait, about the Harbaugh thing, it's not done yet. He has not signed a contract yet. They're still in talks about the language of the contract. You don't know that, dude. It's the New York Giants. They can mess this up. It's probably
I would be pretty shocked if it.
Of all franchises that would do this, there's 2 of them: the Giants and the Jets. That would mess up a contract like this.
No, there's only one, just the Jets. The Giants actually have responsible adults in their building. John Mara, Steve Chase, Chris Mara. Listen, as bad as the Giants have been, I mentioned the win percentage. Joe Shane, 45 losses in 4 years. I mean, it's been a disaster. They do have adults in that building. The Jets have no adults. They have Woody Johnson who listens to fucking Madden ratings.
Wait. You were talking about Joe Shane? You're saying Joe Shane? The guy who didn't make his best player a contract offer and let him walk to the division rivals?
Oh, no. Let's get this straight. He made him a contract just the year before. Saquon decided not to take it. It was the same money he got
They wanted to
from
put
the
him on
Eagles.
franchise tag. That's just disrespectful to your best player.
No. They franchise tagged him, and then in August they came back to him and said, "This is the deal we'll give you." And there was around $13 million a year, just like the first contract he signed with the Eagles before he had the contract extension.
Yeah.
Obviously, he gets paid more now, but it was around the same deal that the Eagles offered. He said no. He could have said yes and got the same money. He said no. But listen, obviously Shane fucked up. He's fucked up plenty of times.
Yeah,
And I'm not defending him in any way, but part of the reason was that Saquon, he wanted to be here, but he practically didn't want to be here.
Yeah,
'Cause if
he wanted to win.
he would have accepted that deal.
But it is disrespectful in a way where it's like, he's your best player, pay him what he's worth. Like in 2022, he was one of the main reasons they were actually a competent football team. And it's like, it's just disrespectful to franchise tag him. And he wanted to stay before he got tagged, and then they tagged him, where he's kind of like, fuck you guys, you're going to do this.
The only thing is, and I know you guys would agree, what do you pay first? A quarterback that, had a good year, or do you pay a running back? A running back's kind of like a position where, like, they get old quick, they get washed quick. So you'd pay the quarterback that won you a playoff game before the running back. That's just always how it's been. That's always how it will be. So I didn't have a problem with them doing that, but yes, I agree. Losing Saquon changed this franchise. After that, we've been a whole dumpster fire.
Like, you think about it like that, we'll make this quick. It's like they paid Daniel Jones, who, let's just be straight up, was dog shit.
Yeah, he sucked after
just
the contract.
A terrible dumpster fire.
$40 million a year.
Yeah, $40 million AAV.
Hey, I know you're not laughing. How much is Fields making right now?
20.
He's even worse.
Ratching. Justin Fields is a running back. But I will say this. Like, I get it, like, Andrew, what you said. Daniel Jones coming off a playoff win in appearance. But, like, he was a hold up. What's the word? Stereotypical game manager. Yeah, he was your game manager. Do enough. You kind of like hand the ball to Saquon, let him work. And But the past is the past. You can't change what happened now. Teams can rebound.
Yeah, teams can rebound, and the Giants are certainly high on themselves next year. Real quick, no explanation needed. Just give me a number. Early season or early prediction of what the Giants' record is in 2026. First year under John Harbaugh. I'll start. I think you're a 10-win team and get a wild card.
8-9, missed the playoffs.
I'm gonna go 8-9, miss the playoffs.
What? No.
The division.
Listen. I love it, and I think there will be a significant change in the team. But listen, it's still the NFC East. This is really hard. I mean, Eagles twice a year, Dallas twice a year. We have to play the AFC South next year. Listen, 8-9 is like, I'm happy. Anything over 7, I'll be happy.
Like,
just
I
how
think
the
Giants
past has
celebrate.
been.
They'd have a parade in New York City like they won the Super Bowl if they would have 8 wins.
But 10 wins is definitely possible. I'll say that. It's definitely possible. I'm just going to stick with 8 as like.
I think it's 8-9.
Yeah.
He bridges them.
8-9, 9-8 for me.
I think they finished third in the NFC East. I think they finished third.
I understand how tough of a division it is. And yes, right now, they have the most unproven quarterback in that division. When you look out across Jalen Hurts, I know I'm obviously down on him, but he's more established. He's better. Dak's great. I mean, he's not the problem over there. He throws for over 4,000 yards.
Incredible.
He's awesome. And then you have Jaden Daniels, who also rough year with numerous injuries that he battled this year, but really a young stud as well. So, yeah. And then as far as the defense goes, they have to bring in a good coordinator. I'll be interested to see if they go in the Pierce direction, who apparently had a really good head coaching interview. Obviously, I don't think he was a serious candidate. That Moore was just a product of the Rooney Rule, where you have to interview 2 black coaches. And Giants
Pierce
interview.
played for the Giants. Pierce won a Super Bowl with them, so they're going to interview one of their own who won a championship with them in 2008. Like, I get it though. Like, Pierce, he was never going to get that Giants job. That was Harbaugh's to lose, and they got it done. They got their guy.
They did get their guy. We can all agree on that. All right, let's talk a little bit about this Dante Morre decision. Dante Morre is going back to Oregon. Fellas, I didn't watch it. But I heard that this was like a LeBron James style Sports Center.
He did on Sports Center. I didn't watch it. I saw it. He did on Sports Center. Like, what the fuck?
Like, what the hell? I mean, we haven't seen that since LeBron declared, gave the
2010.
seminal announcement that he was going to Miami. He's taking his talents to South Beach. Suddenly, Dante Morre is important enough to have that for him. So I couldn't believe that. I should go on YouTube and watch that after this because that is just weird to me.
It's so funny.
It's great publicity. It's great publicity for the School of Oregon, and just a very weird way for that announcement to come out. But yes, he's eschewing $50 million of being a top 10 pick in the NFL, presumably 2 to the Jets if he declared for NIL money, which is not even close to what he would be getting as the second
Or he just didn't
overall
want to be a
pick.
Jet.
Still,
he didn't want to go to the Jets.
that's not why, but.
It's where careers go to die.
Shut up. And no, but we have to stop this anti-Jets rhetoric on this podcast.
You're an anti-Jets rhetoric person too. You shit on them whenever you can.
How could I not? What's there to be positive about? But I'm just saying.
Actually,
Listen, and here's the thing, and I see this, I'm seeing it everywhere. Craig Carton, who's back at WFAN. All of these Jet fans on Twitter and social media, I'm seeing it everywhere. People are celebrating the fact that Dante Morre is going
How can you
back to
celebrate
school. How are you? First of all, I put this on my Instagram story. Like him or not, it's basic logic. If he declares for the NFL draft, the Cleveland Browns and Arizona Cardinals both also pick in the top 10. I think the Browns pick 6th. And the Cardinals pick 3. Cardinals pick 3, that's right. So both of them are potential suitors for Dante Morre and might be willing to give you even further draft compensation to move down. So if you don't like Dante Morre, Jets have a golden opportunity in a draft that is pretty well considered not that talented to move down, stockpile more picks, and maybe even get more 2027 picks. Now we're buckled into 2 without a quarterback, really. No vision of that. We could talk about Ty Simpson and whatever else. But all Jet fans need to understand, like Dante Morre now, I guess you could say, well, they would have felt the pressure to take him at 2. And I think that he's going to be a bust. He's Zach Wilson 2.0. Now that there's all that pressure's been alleviated, it's a good thing. But still, I mean, it's pretty clear. It was bad news as a New York Jets fan that he went back to school. I genuinely don't think the reason as to why was because he feared being drafted by the Jets. I heard through the grapevine that on SportsCenter, he sounded like a timid 20-year-old kid. He sounded scared. He sounded like somebody that wasn't ready to take the reins as an NFL quarterback, and that's probably it. He probably knew he wasn't ready. I didn't think he was ready. I wasn't head over heels over Dante Morre.
Matt, yes, you were. Matt, you were in my house praising this guy like a god.
Yeah, but then I did a little bit more homework, and especially that game when I was at your house, he played like shit. So,
which with Texas Tech, he played just fine.
He played pretty good. They scored 14
pretty
points.
good.
Right?
I mean,
he started slow. But I mean, the Indiana game is where the bottom really fell out with the pick 6 and the first drop back and 2 fumbles. One of the fumbles was not his fault. The running back ran into him. But anyway, I digress. It is not good news for the New York Jets. Let me just ask you guys, because there's a lot of... Listen, here's the deal. The bearings are pretty grim in the free agent market. You got Daniel Jones, Malik Willis, who's going to get a bag from somebody. I would love him. Really, really intriguing late season starts that he had. Marcus Mariota, listen to this list. Take away Malik Willis, who we don't even know. I mean, yes, he looked great. He threw 27 to 32 when he got the opportunity. But he's not exactly proven either. Daniel Jones is coming off an Achilles. Listen to the rest of these fucking names. Marcus Mariota, Jimmy Garoppolo, Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson, Mitch Trubisky, Carson Wentz, I'm almost done, Kenny Pickett, Tyler Huntley, and Jake Browning.
You got to take into account, though, that Kyler Murray is going to be cut, and so will Tua, though. So those are 2 names that will be on the market.
You want CGE Demon Tua Tagovailoa?
Are those any more appealing than the names I just mentioned?
Yes, they are way more appealing than the names you just named. I'd rather Kyler Murray than Tyler Huntley or
I don't know,
Kenny Pickett.
Kyler has a clause in his contract that he has to play limited video games because he's addicted to COD and doesn't watch film. I don't know if I want for an organization that already does Madden ratings and has enough dysfunction. We don't need another fucking video game.
That is so funny that they do that. That cannot be true.
No, it's true. I remember when he.
True.
I mean,
He wouldn't trade for Jerry Jeudy because he wasn't an 80 or above.
we almost didn't re-sign John Simpson because like his awareness was low in Madden. And
Keyword almost.
almost, he's still a Jet.
Keyword
So
of the Jets. It's almost. That's the keyword.
What made them sign Fields? What do they see in Madden that this guy's so good?
yeah, I don't know. But listen, I'll throw the question on you guys. I would give Malik Willis the bag, honestly. I don't really know exactly what a deal would look like for him. It's probably 2 or 3 years. Drew's laughing because as much as I think Jalen Hurts sucks, our quarterback situation is just that much more dire. I would give Malik the bag. I like him. I like the way he played. He showed... listen, even the starts he didn't make, Jordan Love got hurt in that game at MetLife Stadium against the Giants. Malik Willis went in there, marched them right down the field. He looked polished. He looked clean. He's mobile. He's strong. And he's definitely his arm strength as well. So I would do that, but I'll throw it on to you guys. If you're Darren Muji, you're sitting in the GM's chair as the New York Jets, what do you do about this quarterback situation as potentially a stopgap for 2027, which is a much more promising quarterback class, or a permanent solution? Big trade. Go ahead.
I think they got to do a bridge a quarterback to next year's draft. Like it's not going to get much better for the Jets this year, unfortunately. Like I say, you bridge quarterback, you bring in a guy like Malik Willis and like that. I don't
That's
know.
the thing, though, Drew. Yeah. Malik Willis is separate from all those other names because Malik Willis is going to expect to be not a camp competition guy, not a stopgap. He wants the opportunity to take the keys.
He's going to start next year because they're going to cut Justin Fields.
He's going to be a post June 1st cut, Justin Fields. There's no way he's staying.
No, I think Malik Willis isn't your guy. Go out there, get him. Go into play out the season, then go into next year's draft and draft your franchise quarterback.
I don't know if you're going to like my answer, but I'm going to go with you.
What?
Go ahead, Andrew. Matt,
I think the Jets will sign. Well, this guy will be cut. The Jets will sign Kirk Cousins to be their bridge quarterback, and they will draft Chambliss in like the 2nd or 3rd round. And have him sit behind him.
Penix tear something like his Achilles or his knee or something?
Yeah, but I'm sure they'll bring in. I don't know if Kirk's
Kirk Cousins is on a 4-year, $180 million deal.
There's no way they're not gonna refix that deal or
they will restructure that deal.
They're gonna restructure.
They're already working on it right now.
They're gonna get rid of Kirk Cousins.
I think he's gonna get released.
No,
and maybe he'll come back on a different deal. There's no way they.
He could be traded.
He could be traded, but if the Falcons, they're very dysfunctional too. The best thing they can do right now, we're digressing off topic. I disagree with you, Andrew. I think the Falcons keep Kirk Cousins and use him as a starter until Penix gets back. Because you look at Kirk Cousins,
possibly, but I think that route for the Jets with going like an older, experienced guy,
a guy who's been there and done
come
that.
in.
Yeah. Mind you, the Jets do have experience with Kirk Cousins. When he signed as a free agent, very high-priced, hot name free agent in Minnesota. At this point, 5 or 6 years ago, the Jets offered more money. The Jets gave him the best offer possible out there, and the Jets were not a quarterback away at that point in time. They're still not. But so there's history. I don't think he wanted to play in New York. I think the big market. But at this point of his career, that was obviously when he had multiple options, whatever. I'm sure it wasn't that much more money than what Minnesota was offering. So an intriguing candidate. He did play well down the stretch for Atlanta. They had a 5-game win streak to close the season. And they played the Jets November 30th. Your boy was in the house at MetLife Stadium, and the Jets won. And if the Falcons had won that game, they would have won the disastrous NFC South. How about that? So he could have been playing playoff football. Listen, Kirk Cousins doesn't get me excited. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan. I'll let you talk in 1 second. But that seems, Andrew, like honestly the most likeliest of all the options right now when you really evaluate the whole thing. And Is it ideal? No. Is this where we want to be? No, but this is where we're at. This is an unfortunate reality of just a rather grim 2026 quarterback class and also slim pickings in free agency.
And then, Matt, you bring up how you were in attendance at the Falcons won. They would have won the NFC South. But with the Jets winning that game, they missed out on the Fernando Mendoza sweepstakes. Like 2020 when they messed up Trevor Lawrence, the New York Jets strike again.
Yep.
That's twice in 5 years they missed out on a number one pick. On a
Yeah, not great.
In the middle of the season.
All right, fellas, let's get to our picks at this point in time. It's a loaded slate this weekend. The game starts Saturday. Coming at you first, it is the Buffalo Bills traveling to the Mile High to play the mighty one-seeded Denver Broncos. 4:30 Eastern Time on CBS. Bills and Broncos. I'll throw it towards you guys first. Your prediction for this game, and what do you expect?
I think Denver wins because they're at home. They have one of the best home field advantages, being a mile high with the altitude thin. And I mean, you look at Buffalo. I'll say it, they escaped out of Jacksonville. Like Josh Allen kind of Superman to that team, like he always does. The Denver, very consistent on offense. They do not turn the ball over. Matt, as you know, Frank Romano, our boy, loves Bo Nix. That he's very good, very consistent.
Oh my gosh, he loves Bo Nix.
And that defense and that Broncos front seven, especially their pass rush, is ferocious. And I like the Bills. You watch them; they don't get the run game going. Like that, they like kind of stall out. I think Denver wins a close one at home.
Andrew?
Yes. I got the Bills, and I'll tell you why. I think the Bills are going to win. I think it's their year. Josh Allen, I mean, literally, he's the best quarterback available in this playoffs, in my opinion. There's no Mahomes, there's no Lamar, there's no Burrow. This is his year. He needs to get it done. And I personally think the Jaguars were the team to beat in the AFC. They were the hottest team coming into the playoffs, and I think they're going to escape out of Denver.
Yeah, it's a good point. And listen, Tony Romo had a really bad broadcast last week, Jacksonville, Buffalo. A lot of people were getting on him in Twitter for how repetitive he was. But one of the things that he was uber repetitive about, that I think pretty much all football fans would have to agree with him on, is the winner of that game, Jacksonville and Buffalo, two legitimate Super Bowl contenders. I mean, just the way that Jacksonville played this year, 14 wins, leaving no stone unturned in the AFC South. They really ran away with it. And they were the only team, guys, to really go out to Denver in the Mile High and play great football. They dominated there. It's obviously a really hard place to play between the great fan atmosphere that it is and even beyond that, the altitude. Guys really get exhausted in the fourth quarter there. We saw the Giants drop 8. And
no more.
What's the fourth quarter?
Those times are past us. Let's leave that in the past.
The dark ages.
Yeah. We don't want to resurface it, but what's over, the days of Shane Bowen are over.
Oh my gosh, don't even get me started.
The dark ages of the New York Giants.
Yes, but anyway, getting off topic there. My game pick for this one, I'll throw you a final score. Drew, you made good points. Buffalo's run game, they are very contingent on. James Cook led the league in rushing yards this year with, I think, 1,630-something. Phenomenal year on the ground. He got paid. He deserves every penny of it. They were stymied by that lethal Jacksonville run defense last week. They couldn't get anything going, but they got it done late in the game. Josh Allen ultimately pulled away because he was Superman. Season on the line, 4th and 1, QB sneak, goes to the left and gets 10 yards with the season on the line, puts him at the 1-yard line. 1 or 2 plays later, they punch it in. That pretty much sealed the deal with Tilo throwing a pick on his first drop back of the last possession there for Jacksonville. So I just think that this is it, man. Andrew, you mentioned it. It's never been more open than right now. It's easy to say this over and over again, but Josh Allen's that guy. He beat Lamar this year. Not only are those guys not in the dance, he took them down along the way. He beat Lamar. He beat the Chiefs. And I don't know if they played the Bengals, but the Bengals defense.
Yeah, They played Cincinnati and beat them.
So they beat all three of those teams anyway. The path is clear. I think they're going to the Super Bowl. I won't say my Super Bowl pick yet and whatever, but I think that this is their year. Last year at Highmark Stadium, give me the Bills in this one. I got to think it'll be close. I think it'll probably hit the over. I don't know what the over-under is. I'll say 34-27. Buffalo getting the W. All right, let's move on. San Francisco and Seattle, two NFC West foes going at it. Game's 8 p.m. on Saturday on Fox. The Niners come in as the 6th seed, and Seattle is your NFC 1 seed who did receive the bye week. Gosh, I mean, how could you not mention the San Francisco team, guys, without talking all of the injuries that they've endured this year, and they've somehow managed to overcome all of them. George Kittle in last week's game, Drew saw it live, tore his Achilles. Then he chugged a bottle of tequila in the locker room after.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yes.
It's a guy's guy right there.
That is a guy's guy. So that's a massive red zone threat that you're without. They're going to have to lean on their run game. CMC's had a phenomenal year. They were great in time of possession last week. That was a big reason why San Francisco came away with it as well. But let's be honest about it. It's a fun story. You know, San Francisco, 6 wins last year. They pretty much let a lot of their higher-end free agents walk in free agency this offseason. And it was, I don't want to call it like a patchwork roster or anything like that. They still had a lot of good players on the roster, but who would have seen this coming with all the injuries and everything? Goes to show you how far a good coach and Kyle Shanahan can get you. But Seattle's a well-oiled machine. Their defense and their offense are both top 5 in the sport, top 3 maybe. I love the way that their defense has played. Seattle, much like Denver, no altitude. But it is a really tough place to play. We all know about the 12th man. Give me Seattle. I'll say I think San Francisco just doesn't put up a lot of points here. 27-13.
Yeah, I agree with you here. I think Seattle takes this one by double digits. I hope this will be a very successful hate watch. I hate the 49ers almost as much as I hate the Cowboys because their fans are unbearable. We'll get into that later. The one thing you do have to look out for with Seattle, Sam Darnold does have an oblique injury from practice, but I think he's going to be geared up. He'll play. You said Seattle's defense. It's vicious, it's ferocious, and relentless. Those are a couple adjectives to throw out about their just team in general. And I think Seattle takes this one by 10+. And last thing, Matt, you said, it's in Seattle. You have the 12s. They haven't had a home playoff game since like the Russell Wilson era.
That's right.
I think they take this one in dominant fashion.
Seattle's got home field. That place is very tough to play at.
Intimidating.
Very loud. Seattle's a bye week. They haven't played in 2 weeks. They'll probably be a little rusty on offense. Sam Darnold is horrible in the playoffs.
Seeing ghosts.
Niners defense is beat up, but they did have a great week last week. No Kittle is rough for the offense. But I think Sam Darnold sees ghosts again, and I'm taking the 49ers to win this game on the road.
Sammy D. Listen, save this for another day. We got to keep it moving here. But I like Sam Darnold. I'm a supporter of him. Obviously, it didn't work out in New York, but I always backed Sam. A report came out last week that actually Robert Saleh did not want to draft Zach Wilson. He wanted to keep Darnold around and trade down and draft Devontae Smith.
I saw this, yeah.
Which is crazy to think about. I'm not sure it would have worked out. I don't know if the rest of the team was ready. The offensive line was still in not good shape, so I don't know, but interesting on that note. But so we all are taking Seattle at home.
Well, I'm taking the 49ers.
Niners.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. Yeah, you're taking the Niners. I like that pick, Drew. I mean,
Bold take.
It is. All right, let's talk about Houston. They're going up to Foxborough to play the Patriots. It is the 5-seeded vicious defense that the Houston Texans deploy against the high-flying Patriots offense. Drake May leading the league in completion percentage this year. They are the 2-seeded team. They are home and hosting. That's 3 o'clock. I guess this game, Sunday? Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
let's say this game is Sunday, it's on ESPN and ABC, so Joe Buck, my guy Troy Aikman, I like that crew, will be on the call. Listen, we saw what the Texans defense did to Aaron Rodgers last Monday, and they've been doing it to teams all year long. Their pass rush is just so freaking good. What a free agent signing. Kind of went under the radar at the time. Danielle Hunter is. I mean, that guy is
vicious.
Between him and Anderson, those two guys, all the stunts that they run, they don't even have to blitz. I mean, D'Amico Ryans can just let those guys pin their ears back and get to the quarterback. They are just such a good dynamic duo. And the Texans, I'm very worried about the Texans offense, to be honest with you. CJ Stroud has looked off all year, just kind of lost. But that defense is so good. I do think they give the Patriots some problems. And this hurts me to say, obviously, as a diehard Jets fan. But a little bit, hey, listen, kind of a slugfest out there last week. This could go either way. I really think it could go either way. A little bit of a slugfest out there for New England against the Chargers last Sunday, where they barely skidded by and won that game. But I do think that their offense wakes up a little bit here, even with how good the defense of Houston is, probably the best in the NFL by most accounts. Give me the Pats. Man, I got to go 1 point game here. 24-23. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you here. I'm going to go the Pats. This will probably be the best game of the weekend, in my opinion. Drake May's never seen a defense like this coming. It's one of the best defenses I've ever seen, honestly. The Pats really haven't played a lot of good teams this year. I know that's been a big,
they had historically the easiest schedule.
Yes, they did.
It's not their fault, though.
No, not at all. But Nico Collins is out for this game. And I think that the Patriots defense will swarm Stroud just like Herbert last week. The Texans line is god-awful. It's probably the worst in the league. And I don't think Stroud will be able to do anything because I think Vrabel's just going to draw up great defensive blitzes that will, make him try and get the ball. Well, Stroud has to get the ball out quick, and he has no Nico Collins, so it's going to be tough for him. I think the Patriots take it in a win off a field goal.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with both of you. I'm taking New England close. The Houston defense, I'm going to be a homer here, kind of reminds me of that 2023 Michigan defense. It's like a boa constrictor. They get you in their grasp. They're not letting go. And, their front four is ridiculous. Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, relentless off the edge.
Relentless. They're involved in every play.
It's like J.J. Watt coming off both edges. Prime J.J. Watt. But
yeah, that's a good comp.
We've all bring up good points. Their offense is abysmal. C.J. Stroud went to against Michigan. We don't need to talk about that. Yeah, I think he sees ghosts out there. New England takes it close, and I think Houston, the only reason I say close is because of that Houston defense, and they're going to stifle the Patriots until they can't.
The thing is, I think, and the Steelers try and play this way, but they just could not muster up anything offensively last week. But the Patriots executed at a high level. They are death by 1,000 cuts. They're going to try and kill you with short, disciplined passes, screens, throwing it to the flat, little button hooks, little slants, and they actually, you watch, it's kind of boring, but that's what's led Drake May to his 70-plus completion percentage. That's the way that they've done it all year long, and I see that trend, and that's a good way, as long as you're not getting stuck in situations where, it's long developing routes, and you really let that front four, as you just mentioned, Drew, get home, they should be fine. And New England's very good. Josh McDaniels is good at designing quick, easy hitters and stuff. So I think their offense will revive. Let's talk about the final game. It's the Rams and the Bears. I think the two Sunday games are the most appealing. Listen, unfortunately, I'll put it this way. I did pick Chicago as my Super Bowl team, which was just the stupidest thing of all time. I don't know why. I mean, they kind of got lucky last week and everything. Barely got by Green Bay if it wasn't for Brandon McManus missing 2 field goals and an extra point and everything. They probably don't walk away winners out of that one. nonetheless, they're still here, and nonetheless, they have come back time and time and time again this year and found ways to win close games. But the Rams, I mean, we just talked about the Patriots. Your two MVP candidates this year are Drake May and Matt Stafford. I think it's Matt Stafford to do what he's doing at, how old is he, 38? 38, I assume. To do what he's doing at his age this year, the passing yards are off the charts. You look at like what he averages on a week-to-week basis. His lines are just ridiculously good. And yeah, I mean, Chicago's home again. It's a raucous environment. The fans there have been pining to see playoff football for a very long time. They were going absolutely berserk in that comeback last week. But yeah, I think these Rams will go in there and silence them pretty good. I think this will be the biggest blowout of the weekend. I think they'll lay it on them, quite frankly. 41-17. I really want to finish this by saying the Bears, but the Rams. So.
Yeah. This is going to be a great game. The thing that worries me, I'm not going to lie, I picked the Packers to beat Chicago last week. And honestly, they should have won.
They should have won. If Brandon McManus does his job, they win.
They win, exactly. So, listen, I give all the credit in the world to Chicago, but I said this last week when I picked the Packers. Your offense can't keep getting started in the third quarter. That's not winning football. It's not going to happen. It can't always happen. You can't wait till after halftime to score 30 points every time. It's going to catch up to you at some point, and I'm going to continue to say it until I'm proved wrong. I'm going with the Rams. I'm trusting Stafford. He's had a hell of a year. This Rams team is very good. I love their defense. I love their defensive coordinator. I think they're going to get it done despite the cold weather. I think they got it.
He might have been your coach if Harbaugh,
Yeah, could have been.
Yeah, you all bring up good points. The only thing you should look out for with the Rams, I do have the Rams winning because, I think Chicago, you can't keep playing with fire like this, getting started late in the game.
Right.
The only thing Chicago has in their favor, I should say, is the weather. Matt Stafford, notoriously bad in outside cold games.
Right.
I mean, you looked at it last year when he went into Philadelphia through the snow, didn't look very good. Frigid temperatures in Chicago, big high wind speeds. This game is going to be won. I think the Rams take it. Their defense is going to get home, and it's just the inconsistency of the Chicago offense. You cannot get going late against a Sean McVay-led Rams team. Been there, done that. You can't do it. The magic ends here for them.
I agree. It has to come to an end at some point. I think their roster overall, I mentioned earlier in the pod, the 2022 Giants comp to the Bears. My roommate says that. He's a big Giants fan. He's a Giants fan from Chicago, 7 blocks away from Wrigley Field. And, he's a diehard Giant fan, and he always brings up that comparison. He hates the Bears. He thinks they have the most obnoxious fans, which they do. I'm amongst a lot of them here at school. Chicago is just a 5-hour drive. I live amongst a lot of Chicagoans, and Bears fans just don't shut up. They're pretty obnoxious people, but they're passionate, and I bet people think I'm an obnoxious Yankees fan, so whatever. Take that with what you will. And, I think good picks, guys. We'll see how all of that pans out. Real quick, we're over an hour now. Time to shut the laptop off, but big news in the MLB world today. Bo Bichette is a New York Met. Not even 24 hours after losing out. You can see who our resident Met fan is by that expression. Not even 24 hours after losing out on the best free agent left in the open market, Kyle Tucker, who's making $60 million a year, which is absurd.
Coward.
The Mets make the pivot. They get Bo Bichette. Andrew Nadler, what are your thoughts?
I think it's a great signing. Kyle Tucker can go fuck himself. He's a coward. Taking the easy way out, signing with the most hated team in baseball. I think this is a great pivot. It's also a good way to screw the Phillies, because they were convinced they had him set on a 7-year, $200 million deal. And then David Stearns actually does something for once in his life. He's better than Brian Cashman so far. And I'm very happy.
I mean, somehow, okay, I'll put it this way. Brian Cashman didn't let his 2 best players from last year's roster walk.
Well, so no.
Yeah, we'll see what happens to Cody Bellinger.
That was 2 years ago. But, 2 off seasons ago.
But I'll build on it. Bo Bichette, he is a career 295 hitter. Had his statistically best season last year while injured.
311. Hit 311 last year.
Home runs were down, 94 RBIs, 42 doubles, which plays very well in Citi Field with the deep gaps in the power alley. Projected to play third base, which is very good. I think this is a great rebound by the Mets. And I'll say this about it. It's like Moneyball with more money, a lot more money. It's like you lose Pete Alonso and you lose these guys. But you kind of look at it, Polanco, Simeon, Bichette, and more so Pete Alonso, you're going to miss out on his offense. I think Brandon Nimmo kind of overrated a little bit. I'll miss him, but not
Miss those walk-up songs.
We all miss the walk-up songs. But I'll say this. It's kind of
You're a child of God. Sorry.
But think of it like this. I think it's like recreating Pete Alonso in the aggregate. It's like you take these three guys, high averages for the most part, and they drive in a ton of runs. Where it's like, I think the Mets now top to bottom are a more complete lineup with these guys. Like last year, there were whole big gaping holes throughout that lineup where it's like they kind of clogged the holes here with guys who hit for high average. But the part that I care about the most is they drive runners in scoring position. They hit very well with runners on base. So I think the Mets, Matt, you said it in our group chat, I think the Mets are a dark horse this year. I think they're going to be better than what people say. Stearns and Cohen say they're not done yet. I think they're going to push for Cody Bellinger, but I don't think they get him. I think the Yankees overpay because Brian Cashman gets scared.
Yeah, and real quick, because I do want to wrap up, and we have more time to talk baseball on a different day. Andrew, where do you stand right now? I mean, as it pertains to Bellinger, it's getting ridiculous. The guy wants 7 years and $37 million. Just too much money. I love Cody. I think
crazy. Market's crazy.
Most of the Yankee fan base, if not all, want him back, but there's a price tag on everybody. Even Juan Soto's not worth $1 billion. He's worth almost, but not $1 billion. And Cody Bellinger's not worth $37 million a year. It's as simple as that. Do you think they get this done? Do you think Bellinger lowers his expectations? I don't know who's giving him that kind of money. Watch out now for the Toronto Blue Jays because they just lost out on one of their premier hitters in their lineup, their top average guy, and they also lost out on Kyle Tucker, who they were pursuing, and they offered a 10-year deal to. So watch out for the Blue Jays. I think they're our number one competitor at this point. Mets still need an outfielder. They could be in the mix. I do think that we'll retain him ultimately. I don't know. I can't wait to see what this contract looks like because I don't think he's getting what he's asking.
Yes, as we get into Bellinger, I want to tie back to Bichette and Tucker for a sec because it adds into Bellinger. I'll start off with the Mets first. I think it's ridiculous that people are paying Kyle Tucker $60 million a year. I'll start with that. I get the market's crazy, but offering that guy 55 to 60 is unbelievable, and the Dodgers, of course, do it. They don't care. And then second, the Mets offseason to me, I don't know if you guys disagree or agree. It just is kind of confusing to me. I can't really get around it.
It makes no sense.
Because they get rid of Pete and, their whole thing is, let's get run prevention. Let's get pitching. That's the whole thing. They haven't signed one pitcher, which was the biggest issue with that team last year.
Yeah, keyword.
Not one pitcher's on the team. They have one really good pitcher. The rest, I don't really know what's going on with the rest.
Nah, Sproat's going to be good. I've seen Sproat pitch. His stuff's electric.
Listen, they have a bunch of prospects that could be good, but my point is that they put Bo Bichette at third, who's a terrible defender, and they want to prevent runs. They put a guy, Jorge Polanco, who's never played first before.
He's going to DH. He's going to DH.
Well, I mean, even if it's Vientos, he's not a good defender either. So the whole thing with run prevention doesn't make sense to me. And they have way too many infielders. And I'm not shitting on their offseason any bit because our offseason has been terrible, but I just don't understand letting Pete walk a homegrown guy and then this being the route. It just doesn't. I mean, listen, maybe they get Bellinger, and if they get Bellinger, it makes a ton of sense because listen, they got an outfielder now. But I don't know. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree. I just don't understand the route they're taking.
Yeah, I will say I completely agree with what you're saying. David Stearns, and another wrinkle to him talking about run prevention, that's the operative term that he's using in all these press conferences, and the reason why he let Pete walk and all these things, because he's building around run prevention. Well, a big part of run prevention is defense, and you just brought in a great hitter, a guy that's led the American League in hits 3 out of the last 4 years, but a guy who struggled mightily defensively, and I know his position in Toronto has been short. Now he'll be playing third, which is a little bit easier, as we all know. But still, I mean, run prevention, this guy's a below-average defender. They played a little second last year with the Blue Jays, too. So it doesn't, I agree, Andrew. It's very off-putting to me that David Stern says one thing and then his actions indicate another. But still, nonetheless, I think the Mets they once Kyle Tucker was off the board, they realized that they needed to compensate for this lineup somehow because they just don't have enough.
I understand that, yeah.
Sure.
So they got a good hitter. Now, there's a lot of opt-outs, and we'll save that for another episode, but it's a good signing for the Mets, and we'll see where we go from here. I mean, it's time for the Yankees to...
And yeah, now the Yankees come up. This has been
something.
the worst offseason of my life. I've never seen a worse offseason.
George Steinbrenner is rolling in his grave.
It's unbelievable.
I think George might pop up any one of these days. There might be enough frustration.
What are you doing?
Coming from the dead.
But again, my point was tying Bellinger to those two is that if Bichette is getting 42 a year and Tucker's getting 60, Bellinger's going to be right in the middle of that. If it's one of those short-term deals to me, it seems like Bellinger's going to get 45 then in one of those opt-out deals. I don't know if you agree.
We talk about this. You have to think about who Cody Bellinger is represented by. Scott Boras.
True.
The greediest agent in all of sports.
Yeah.
Not even close.
He tries to get the most out of his players. If Cody Bellinger retained his 2017 to 2019 form where he was in the MVP conversation, I'd say he's worth $45 million a year. The most AAV I think he's worth is 30.
30 to 33, yes.
That's generous. I think the contract he should get is 5 years, 150.
And that's what the Yankees stand in. They're standing on 160 right now. They raised it a little. And that's fair.
Contract.
That is so fair. That is a fair contract.
That is a fair contract for Cody Bellinger. He's good. Not great. He's not the player he once was. 5 years, 160 is a great contract for him. But it's Scott Boras. He's going to try and demand money. Someone is going to cave.
Someone will cave. It
won't be the
are
Yankees,
desperate. The market for bats is pretty thin right now, so somebody's going to... I hope it's the Yankees that cave.
Harrison Bader will be in left field for the Yankees on opening day.
Hey,
I really hope that's not true. Finished strong with the Phils last year, but that's not good enough. I'm sorry. We're looking at left to right.
If I'm right, and I come back to this episode...
we're looking at Peter, Grisham, and Judge. I'm going to kill myself, but...
Tyrone Taylor's better than Trent Grisham. I'll die on that hill.
That is not true. Okay, on that note, we're going to end this episode. I guess we could go on all day about this shit, but...
defensively, Roan, top 10 center fielder in baseball.
Yeah, okay, buddy.
He couldn't hit his weight.
He couldn't even get through an episode without mentioning Michigan. I mean, this is predictable from Drew. Not to be a homer, but I'm about to be a homer. All right, anyway, thank you so much for joining us on this New York Sports Take Marathon. There's just so much happening in the sports world right now. We got to unpack it all. Thank you to our audience. If you're still here with us, we will see you soon.